Good evening, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our virtual open house at Stream Academy. I'm so glad that you all have joined us here. All of you who are on Zoom with us, parents and staff members and students, and also to our YouTube audience that is watching us live, and also our YouTube audience that may watch this later because it will be recorded for prosperity for all time. Welcome, families, students, parents, and staff. We are so happy to have you here this evening. I'm your principal, Adam Mokelke. I'm super excited to host our virtual open house. I think this is our second virtual open house. Is that right, Mrs. Bionich? We did one last spring.
That is correct, Principal Mokelke. We did it last year and we're doing it again this year.
Awesome. I am glad that we are able to do these virtual open houses and reach families in this way, but I also look forward to a day when we won't have to do things virtually again and we can see you face to face. So let's get started this evening. On our agenda, we want to tell you about our school. We want to talk about Stream Academy, what makes us special, different, unique, what are our driving educational philosophies, how do we do things at Stream? How is it different from your neighborhood school as a charter school? We will touch on assessment and grading, how we grade students at Stream, because it's very different than some traditional programs. We'll talk about our schedule, what a student's schedule and day will look like next year when we are hopefully face-to-face and in regular instruction. We will talk about how you can volunteer and be engaged at Stream, the sports and activities we offer, and then also how to be engaged in sports and activities that we don't offer, because you have the right to do that as well. And we'll take questions and give the best answers that we can. So the first thing we share at every meeting, whether it's a staff meeting or morning coffee with Stream Academy every Wednesday, is our mission. And our mission is this: Anchored Stream Academy empowers students to be involved learners, critical thinkers, and engaged citizens who are inspired by the natural world. We try to live that mission every day. It's important to us, and we try to walk that walk in many ways, and we'll talk about that. So what does that mean? How does that look? How does that live? How does that look in real life? We have three educational philosophies, three pillars of Stream Academy: project-based learning, STEM integrated across our curriculum, and outdoor experiential education. That's a lot. Those three things can be each their own charter school, and in fact, they are. You can find a charter school with each of those philosophies alone. However, we're ambitious at Stream Academy. Our founders were ambitious and felt those three things were really the key important things to engage students in learning, to get students really engaged and passionate, and to really help grow their minds and create productive and engaged citizens. The driving educational philosophy, if we had to pick one, the foundational educational philosophy of Stream Academy is project-based learning. All of our teachers take the standards and the curriculum that they teach and work really hard to develop projects, experiential, hands-on projects for learning that curriculum and those standards. It can be a project just in a content area. It can be just a math project, but more often than not, it's a multidisciplinary project. It's multiple content areas and often multiple teachers teaming together to build and to implement those projects. Ms. Gatlin's going to talk more about project-based learning in a little bit. STEM across the curriculum. Again, it's not just something we say, it's something we mean, it's something we live. Your child at Stream Academy may have 3 or possibly even 4 science type classes at Stream. And we think that's awesome. We think that's amazing. I actually had a student come to me and say, Mr. Mokelke, there's a mistake on my schedule. I have too many science classes. And I thought, oh no, at that time, we didn't have our counselor yet. Ms. Bonertz, now we do have a counselor. I did all the scheduling. I thought, oh no, I made a mistake on the schedule because I do that. And I looked, and he had his regular grade level science class, and he had his STEM science class. All of our students have a grade level science class and a STEM class. And he had an elective in our elective block that was a science-based elective. So in fact, he had 3 science classes on his schedule. And so that's how we live STEM across the curriculum, and we can get into that more as well. And then the third piece is the outdoor experiential education. We have a philosophy that we get outside every day, we learn outside every day. Our teachers are really big on taking students outside, not just for the incredible benefits of fresh air and exercise and being in the woods and being in nature, but they integrate learning and experiential education and projects and science when we go outside. We actually do go outside every day. So if you're not into going outside every day, this might not be the program for you because it's not an option. When we have block days and longer periods, it's mandatory that on each of those block periods, teachers take at least a 10-minute break and they take students outside. So when we say we go outside every day, we actually go outside on average, I would say 4 to 5 times a day. Our PE, we don't have a gymnasium, but your child will have PE at Stream. That PE with Mr. Mosen is outdoor and experiential, and 95% of it is outside. If it's 10 below, we're going outside. Ms. Gatlin, I want to turn it over to you to just share a little bit more, introduce yourself, and talk a little more about project-based learning at Stream.
Yeah, hi everybody. I am Megan Gatlin. I am our project coordinator and teacher expert at Stream. And as Mr. McKelkey stated, project-based learning is one of our, well, it is our driving force at Stream, but it's one of our 3 pillars. And so a definition of what project-based learning is that it's a student-centered pedagogy, a way of teaching where, Adam, can you share those slides again? Or do you want me to? Okay, yeah, thank you. So a student-centered way of teaching in which the students can gain their knowledge and skills by working together collaboratively to investigate and respond to real-world engaging problems or challenges. That's a wordy definition, but there's some main features of project-based learning. And we try to build these features into a culture within our classroom. And so that involves making sure that the kids are working on challenging problems or questions, things that are authentic and real world to them. That there's an element of inquiry. So they're asking questions as they go through the project. The project is designed to answer a question, and then more questions arise. So there's a cycle of inquiry. Voice and choice are built into the PBL culture within the classroom, as well as critique and revision and reflection. So all those pieces are not just part of projects, but also part of how our teachers are teaching at our schools. One other main element that we really emphasize at Stream is our public product exhibition. And so this is the way we display the learning to our community, which could be our school, or it could be our board, or it could be our neighborhood, or it could be larger, like our city. And so these could be in the form of presentations, competitions, demonstrations, or performances. And then just another aspect that's important is our teachers are continually developing professionally in our project-based knowledge, and we're growing together as we learn. If you could advance the slide. Oh, wait, no, stay here, because I want to talk about this picture really quick. I forgot. So this is a really fun project that we did a couple of years ago called a sled building project, where the students researched different types of sled designs, and then they built models that we actually tested in a homemade wind tunnel that was built. And then the final product was this contest, the sled contest. And so that was what that picture is from. I just thought it was important. That was project-based learning at its best. All right, you can advance this slide, Mr. McKelkey. Thank you. So besides project-based learning, our second pillar that I'm going to talk about is outdoor experiential education. As Mr. McKelkey said, we learn outside every day. We go outside. So this is for breaks, or for intentional walks, or for field trips or treks, which is what we call our larger field trips, which means teaching research education to kids. And so some of these images that you see here are like the one in the far right corner. This is us at Arctic Valley, and you can see our teacher leader here in the lead and all the students behind her. Beautiful day out there. And the picture on the far left is our ski team. I believe that is this year. They're out there. They've got their gear. They're ready to go. They're practicing. And then the picture in the middle was a outdoor survival building project. So they were building shelters outside. So we make sure that all of our students are well versed in our outdoor expectations, and we begin practicing those at the beginning of the school year. And then we also encourage students to make sure that they bring the proper gear and clothing, and also will help if they need help finding the gear and clothing. You can advance the slide. Thank you. And then the third part that I wanted to mention is our STEM at Stream. And really STEM is across the curriculum, as it says here. Everything has STEM in it. And this year, or I should say next year, we're going to be getting it set up this year, is we have a new Stream Fab Lab, which is a fabrication laboratory that we are going to be in partnership with Cook Inlet Tribal Council. We are creating a Stream Fab Lab that we will have. So all students will be enrolled in a class where they will be working with the technology to build things. So that's my exciting news for next year for you guys. So. And next, yeah, and that was my part. So Mr. McKelkey, it's back to you. Thank you.
Thank you. And Miss Bonertz, feel free to jump in on this slide if you want to. We get a lot of questions about our school climate, and we take a tremendous amount of pride on our school climate and culture. We work very hard to foster a positive school culture and culture of respect. Mutual respect between students and staff, staff and staff, student to student. One of our mottos is everyone in our building will treat each other with dignity and respect. And we mean that. And when we have someone who hasn't been treated with dignity and respect or is struggling with that, we work really hard with them. Ms. Bonertz and I and our staff work hard to help that person understand the tenets of dignity and respect and to come around on that. We believe in restorative practices over punitive practices. So I'll suspend a student if I have to, but only if I have to. We always look for a restorative solution first. We push that limit even up to some confrontations, not fights, because fights will be a suspension and we very, very rarely have a fight. But students that get into some pretty serious confrontations, we look first to use restorative practices. And so I offer parents the opportunity, would you like me to issue a suspension, or would you like me to, or Ms. Bonertz, our counselor, to do restoration and a conflict resolution? If the students agree to a conflict resolution, we take that approach, because that's really more about teaching kids. We're all about teaching kids, whether it's math and science or whether it's how to function in society and get along with one another and solve problems appropriately. So that's a really important part of our philosophy that we really like to share. And I think Ms. Bonertz will probably share more about that. We're also very big on giving very clear expectations, having a lot of structure and a lot of clarity, to have the amount of flexibility we have to do the things we do that neighborhood schools don't do, to be out in the woods, to be out on adventures and off campus, to be doing science and STEM and using tools and getting creative. We push the boundaries, we push the limits a lot. You can't do that if you can't do that safely and have clear expectations. So we work really hard on having clear structures and clear expectations for students so that we can do those fun and cool and experiential and creative things. I do need to let parents know that we are really firm on when students are off campus, we absolutely have to have them follow directions and behave appropriately. And so students who have discipline issues off campus, we take that very seriously, and they lose their rights to go off campus. That's really not a good place to be in at Stream, because we go off campus and we go outdoors so much. So we expect you to behave, and we work with you on that when we're in the building. But when we're off campus, there's no tolerance for misbehavior or dangerous behavior, because it just has no place in our program. So we want to be really clear on those expectations and how we operate. Every student at Stream has an advisor and has an advisory group, and that advisory group stays together. They form a school within a community within the community support network. And so that's a major positive. We do a lot of social emotional learning and support and things like that in our advisory program, as well as we also work in a lot of critical organizational and study skills. Ms. Kodelman and Ms. Bonertz have worked really hard to structure our advisory and to provide resources so that it really teaches middle schoolers to be organized, to keep a calendar, to keep track of their responsibilities, and to stay on top of things. And so we explicitly teach that in advisories as well. And it's a good segue into our amazing counselor, Miss Amy Bonertz. Miss Bonertz, would you like to introduce yourself and just talk a little bit more about what we do at Stream?
Hi, yeah, thanks so much, Mr. Mokelke. Just to touch back on restorative practices, one thing we really want to focus on is how do we get the kids back in the classroom? Kids can get disruptive. We're middle schoolers. Life's a little bit weird and hard. And so we really want to focus on helping students understand how their actions impacted them and impacted the teacher, impacted their peers, and really get them to focus on how they can make that change and get back into the classroom and get back to learning. We really want to focus on getting them to be engaged citizens and community members. We're a small school and we really depend on each other during outdoor activities, during class time. And so it's really about teaching them how to be good citizens. We do focus a lot on SEL, or social emotional learning. We do that a lot in advisory. We focus on, team building and friendships and gratitude and lots of different things. We do circle time. That's a really powerful tool that we use during advisory, where it really brings that community aspect together and get the kids talking together as equals, including the teacher and staff. I do individual counseling on a day-to-day basis as needed. I also do crisis counseling for some of those more traumatic things that might come up. Hopefully they don't come up very often, but they do. And then also I do the 504 coordination for all of our students who have 504 plans. So if any of our students need a 504 or have a 504, I'm the person to generate that paperwork and get that in place for you. So yeah, thank you, Mr. Mokelke.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Bonertz. We have an excellent counseling staff and excellent supports in our advisory program. And really, each of our teachers acts as a pseudo counselor in that advisory role and works really closely with Ms. Bonertz to provide that support as well. I want to touch on technology at Stream and sort of this duality that we have with technology. On the one hand, we are a STEM school and we are one-to-one. We have a Chromebook for every student enrolled at our school if needed. We allow students to bring their own devices as long as they treat them, follow the same policies and the same guidelines as students using our Chromebooks in school. And so we do use a lot of technology tools, even prior to going to virtual learning and being online. We did a lot with Google Classroom. And now we're using Canvas. It's an important part of what we do at Stream. The flip side of that is we understand that it's really important to manage that technology and structure that technology. Again, that idea of having a lot of structure, having clear structure and clear guidelines, and then flexibility on the other side of structure. So we have very clear expectations and structures for the use of technology. Technology is only used at teacher direction. Technology should only be out and on and used when the teacher directs that it's the time to do that. And when it's not, then technology needs to be off and away. We understand that most students today have cell phones and personal devices, yet we also know that for middle schoolers and for adults, that technology is a massive distraction. Our brain is wired to jump to that technology and get that quick fix of entertainment or information. And so to keep that balance between being a technology-based school and yet not letting technology rule our lives or overwhelm us, we ask that all your personal devices, your cell phones and personal devices are off and away. Our motto with this is off and away during the day, off and away during the day. So we don't allow you to have cell phones out or on or be on cell phones during the school day. And trust me, that's for your own good as well as our own good. I think that covers it with the devices and technology. We can take questions on that later. Communication is extremely important to us. If you survey any organization, any school, any business, any organization, and ask employees, constituents, people that organization serves, what the number one need for improvement is, no matter how great they are at it, the number one thing that will come up, or the number two thing that will come up, is communication. And so what I've learned as a school leader is no matter how good your communication is, it's never good enough, and it always has to be better. So we take the approach of communicating in every way and on every platform possible, and to continuously to take the approach of continuous improvement, which is you're never there. You're always trying to get better. So I want you to know we take communication very, very seriously at Stream Academy. We send out a newsletter I call the Rapids Report. We have our website, which is very robust. I think honestly, it's the best website of any ASD school. And that's because Mrs. Beyondich, our administrative assistant, maintains that, not because I do it. When I was doing it, it was one of the worst websites in the school district. But now that she does it, it's one of the best websites in the school district. She puts current information and tabs and links and updates on there constantly, like literally daily. So I really strongly encourage you to go to stream.asdk12.org, check out our website. We email parents. I frequently email parents important information. Our staff is very good, very good. They CC me on a lot of their class emails, and they send out regular, I would say most of our staff send out weekly emails. Staff, would you say that's pretty close? I know Mrs. Smith sends out a weekly email. Ms. Kodelman does, yeah. So our staff will email you weekly pretty much on what's going on in class and what to expect. We have been doing morning coffee every Wednesday since last April, and morning coffee on Wednesday mornings is a Zoom session with actually the same exact Zoom link that we're on now. It's streamed on YouTube, the same YouTube channel that we're streaming on now, and it's archived that people can go back and watch it. And that's just our weekly way to connect with parents and update you and keep you current on information. We send out messages on the ASD mobile app, so you definitely want to make sure you click on Stream as an option on the ASD app you can download. And so we also have a really robust social media presence. Again, thanks in large part to Mrs. Beyondich. She does a lot of our social media. Her and I work together on it. So follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, on Twitter, on YouTube. We're on social media. We're sharing information. We're sharing content. We're getting information out there. So I'm really proud of our communication. We work very hard on it and take it very seriously at Stream, but I always want to know how it can be better. And I find that we can communicate on every one of these platforms, and I'll still miss somebody. I'll still miscommunicate in some way. I still will think I communicated clearly with a parent on something and then go back and look and really I had missed a step. And so we always want to hear from you. We always want to know how we can communicate better. What we don't have on there is good old fashioned postcards, Mrs. Beyondich. We also communicate. We probably have sent 1,000 postcards this year. Would you say? I don't think that's an exaggeration. I think we've mailed 1,000 postcards out this year. If you've applied to Stream in the lottery, you've gotten a postcard from me, if I have your address right. Zach Harris, have you gotten a postcard from me this year? All right, good to hear. He's got, hold on, I'm gonna hold that up, Zach. I'm gonna spotlight your screen so everyone sees you. I can spotlight for everyone. All right, yeah, Zach I promise I didn't prep Zach for this. He just literally pulled the postcard up when I said postcard. So thank you, Zach. You're amazing, bud. So I want to, speaking of our awesome staff and all the great work that they do, I want to turn it over to our staff now. We have two things here. This is optional for our staff. They've been working really hard today. They were in trainings and meetings today. So some of our staff aren't able to be here, which is totally understandable. And some of our staff chose to come. The staff that aren't here, Miss Kodelman, who's one of our amazing staff members, put together a video to introduce our staff. And then the staff that are here in person are going to introduce themselves. Miss Kodelman, how do you want to run this part of the show?
I will just present a video.
That sounds great.
And then I can present the video for the staff who aren't here, and then we can invite staff who are here to present. All right. Some of these videos are really awesome. Adalia, thank you. All right.
Hi everyone, my name is Chris Krejcia and I've been at Anchorage Dream Academy for 4 years. I teach math intervention and I'm also a special education case manager. I look forward to meeting all of you.
Hi, my name is Stephanie Gable and I am a social studies teacher teaching 6th and 7th grade at Anchorage Dream Academy, and I'm looking forward to the upcoming year.
Hi, I'm Lily Goodman, also known as Miss Goodman, and I teach 8th grade science and math, and I love going outside with students. In fact, I love going backcountry skiing. I think I'm gonna go do that now.
My name is Richard Beer and I've been teaching mathematics at Anchorage Stream Academy for the past 4 years. I love this school and I'm excited for yins to see how wonderful we are tonight. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, my name's Mr. Mosen. A lot of people call me Coach Mosen. I ended up here at Stream 3 years ago, so this fall will be my 4th year teaching at my dream school. I am the PE teacher as well as the athletic director. We will be doing cross-country running, cross-country skiing, as well as during PE, we'll be doing games, fitness, sportsmanship, and self-care. We are going to be outside, we are going to be active, and I'm really looking forward to a great year, 2021-22.
Hello, new and prospective families. My name is Scott Perkins. I've been teaching at Anchorage Dream Academy for the past 5 years. I teach 8th grade social studies as well as some PE classes. And next year, I'm excited to take part in the Fab Lab program being introduced at Stream Academy. Hope everyone's doing well. I look forward to seeing you all in the fall. Go Rapids! Woo!
The woo was too good. I had to make that the show ender. It was so good. So I'll start and then other staff can just jump in however they want. I'm Miss Kodelman. I'm the language arts teacher for currently 6th grade, but also 7th grade. My favorite part about being an ELI teacher is breaking down some things that kids get kind of scared of and confusing with, especially writing, and making it accessible through the use of so many different tools and just fun and engaging subject matters. Another reason I love teaching ELA is because we get to read, we get to talk about stories, we get to geek out on those really awesome stuff, and I really enjoy spending time with my students. I'm gonna tag Mr. H.
Hey y'all, I'm Mr. H. I teach 7th grade science and STEM, and I have been here for a year and a half, I guess, a new hire, in other words, and it is a great place to be. I will tag Ms. Drager.
Thank you, Mr. H. Hi, I'm Miss Drager. I've been here for 5 years. Best school ever. Not sure how I got so lucky. I am the 6th grade science teacher and the robotics teacher, also the robotics team coach. And my favorite thing is all of our hands-on learning. But we take it further than just doing it, right? We really dive deep into understanding the steps, and we take it one step further, which I think we can only do at Stream, because we can tie in language arts, we can tie in social studies and math into our core subjects, because, right, these things aren't in their own boxes. So we will be Socratic seminaring in robotics. And the fun thing is we're talking about robots in our real world in a context that is solving like problems where kids are just, I mean, they'll talk the entire period and they just love it. And I love watching them love it. And it's a very inspiring place to be. Okay, somebody cut me off. I'll tag, is there another teacher on here?
Miss Smith is going next.
Thank you.
Yeah, I got you. So question, what do these two objects have in common? I love that from earlier, right? Right? You gonna try it out? Anyone gonna try it out? Those who were not in the PD earlier today where I stole this from. Oh, well, that's a good thought. I didn't even think of that. Okay, well, layers is the answer, but could be said to be other things. Lots of interpretations, right? So something in the chat I never even thought of saying. So that's kind of what I do. I'm Emily Smith on the 8th grade team, Language Arts and Social Studies. And we go into multiple layers of meaning, multiple interpretations. And the best interpretations are those that I never even thought of. So I just got to be on morning coffee this morning. So I had this handy dandy thing already ready. So this is what I'm currently doing in 8th grade social studies, for example, this big old list of what we're doing, imperialism to World War II with a main focus on World War II. Part of what we're doing is analysis of art and propaganda. We talk about persuasive techniques and rhetorical appeals, but for example, this is the art coming during World War II period, coming out of America, and then this is the world on the right, the art coming out of Europe during the time of World War II. And we talk about the colors and implications of which as well. So this is our main question for 8th grade social studies at this time. And we do, as I said, analysis of art and propaganda. Here's an example of American propaganda. And also 8th grade language arts. So what I do is I take down the barriers between the content areas, I merge it all together and I mix it up, and we don't know which class we're actually in because it's all tied together and it's so fun. So nuances and layers of meaning, currently what we're doing. It's a historical fiction novel study with Book Thief, which is set during World War II. So that's how it kind of ties in together. And we look at a lot of imagery in this book and think about this question: what was life like for Germans during World War II? And we talk about the dualities of life of a person living at any kind of regular town in whatever Germany during World War II, power of words, and the kindnesses and cruelties in humans. So some of the real life authenticity that we look at. 8th grade language arts and social studies, whoop, whoop. And I believe I'm throwing it back down to Principal McKelkey now, unless Mr. Mosen would like to share again.
Mr. Holsoppel's here too.
Oh, Mr. H, I'm sorry.
You already went.
I already went.
Oh, yeah.
I could go again, but I don't think I need to.
I think Mr.
Sorry,
Mosen
Mr.
needs to share anything else he wants to, because he's an overachiever and he submitted a video and came to the meeting.
And Ms. Kodelman taught me how to unmute myself. I could do that. I could speak. I guess I'm also at my dream school. I've always thought about wanting to work somewhere where I could focus on being outdoors with students. And that's what I get to do. Looking forward to more PE, and I'm really putting some energy into this idea that people may not have been that physical during this last year. So I'm kind of, I'm looking to really have like a fitness program to get us back into being in our bodies when we get back to school in the fall. I'm sure people will be active all summer, but I just am anticipating some huge growth in people's activity levels when they get to stream, because we're gonna be going after it.
That's me. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Coach. Is there anyone else that we needed to? I don't want to miss anyone.
Yeah, I wanted to introduce myself again and some students that are here with us. So I am Megan Gatlin, and I have been at Stream for 5 years now. And my job is to work really closely with our teachers to support them and help them design awesome projects and help them get kids outside. And yeah, it's really, really fun to get to work with these teachers. If you can't tell, they're really fun. So another really great thing about my job this year in particular, I'm helping to work with a youth leadership lab. So I have some of our students here to join us tonight so that we can have our student voice represented. And so I just wanted to introduce those kids, and then they'll be available to do to answer questions when we get to the question and answer part at the end. So those students are Zachary Harris, who is here. Hi, Zach. Thanks for being here. Soraya Burkhart, who is here, and Adalia Nutini. So thank you, students, for joining us, and they will be available to ask them specific questions when we get to question and answers. So
Thank you, Ms. Gatlin. We're going to go back to Ms. Kodelman, and she's going to talk a little bit about how assessment and grading work at Stream Academy, how that might look different than it does in a traditional school. Ms. Kodelman?
Hey, hi, I'm going to talk a little bit about assessment and grading. This is going to be a crash course. So if there's any point where you get like a little bit overwhelmed or confused, congratulations, you're normal. So I have this presentation just for you. If you want to hear more information, definitely go back into the Morning Coffee archives. I've been doing sort of a bite-sized snippet in more detail for each of these sort of concepts. And so this is going to be the overview. Our lighthouse comes from a book called Fair Isn't Always Equal by Rick Wormelli. And it's a wonderful text that talks about how do we make grading more authentic? How do we make it actually represent learning? So a grade should not be compensation, but communication. So this is one of our major focuses, is how do we make sure that we communicate everything we can about learning without throwing extra stuff into the grade. And so we know that learning can be hard and teaching is hard. And by working together, we can make it easier on ourselves and on kids. Quickly communicating student learning and understanding to parents is difficult. So this is a whole new system. So be patient with yourselves and let's just go through it. We have two things in our gradebook. Okay, we have practice, which are formative assessments, and we got summative assessments, which are masteries. Or pause and moz, super easy, pause and moz. The formative assessments are the practice. So this is where the learning takes place. This is learning for teachers as well. So this is the student's opportunity to try the new skill, to practice engaging with the new concept. And they do that in a ton of different contexts. They can do that in discussions, written, short answer, all kinds of different contexts depending on the subject. And then we have summative assessments, same thing, different contexts, but they sum up learning. So does it have to be a test? Not really. I've done a mastery on a single sentence, thesis statements, right? We've done masteries on 5 math problems. Test doesn't have to be that long. So it's just a chance for us to see, have students mastered the concept that we sought out for them to master. And we sometimes as a class will even come up with the criteria for mastery together. What makes a good thesis statement? How do I know my argumentative essay outline is actually convincing? So when it comes down to an overall grade, in say like ELA, we use this to sort of best represent the overall grade, which again is made up. It's something we created. It's really hard for us to sort of contextualize, well, how much has a kid mastered in ELA when in ELA we have in 1 quarter practiced narrative writing, narrative reading, analyzing theme, reading informational text structures. We do so many things. How do you tell when somebody's mastered football? Like, there's so many different things that go into it. So we do our best to really conceptualize the overall grade by making mastery the big picture. So when we're learning to play an instrument, this is the metaphor I like to use. What gets the most weight, the practice or the concert? Do we judge a player by how they sound when they're doing 3-octave scales over and over again? Or do we measure their worth and their ability, well, not worth, definitely not worth, their ability as an violinist by their performance in a concert? So think of it like a game or a skill that a person practices outside of school. We give them feedback in practice, and then we assess for mastery in the game, in the concert. And in pursuit of fairness, we do that with our pause and moz. You'll see 2 different types of grading with these. The pause and moz are graded for completion. You either did it or you didn't. You showed up to practice. You did all the drills. You did all of those 3-octave scales. You went through your drills, or you didn't. And then you get feedback on whether or not you did those. Okay. And then on the mastery, we determine what level of mastery you achieved. And we weigh them so we can also use our mastery scale for every assignment. Virtually everything in our gradebook is going to be 5 points. So the words and numbers are the important part. The letters are a carryover. This is really important to remember because this is where it gets fuzzy. The words are a carryover. The letters are a carryover. So we grade everything from 0 to 5 on the mastery scale. And this is our scale on the left side. You can see that it has shifted things a bit. We have 20% increments between our grades. Parents aren't used to this. They're more used to the one on the right side, where a 60% is a D and anything below that is an F. And I get calls from parents and they say things like, why does my kid have a C, a 40% and a C? Well, remember, C is not passing. Okay, we don't do that like passing. We do, did they master it or are they still learning? So a C means that they're almost there. They have some misconceptions. And some parents are still a little uncomfortable with that 20% increments. We're having to undo a lot of conceptions that we've held on to and that we're familiar with. So if we're not okay with 6 degrees of success, why would we be okay with 6 degrees of failure? Again, it's all made up. We're just doing our best to communicate what we can. So this thing can be magic if used correctly. I have done conferences with students where I mentioned this on Morning Coffee. I've done conferences with students where I ask them, okay, where do you think you are on our thesis statements? Okay, we show them the criteria. We say it's a complete sentence. It has a claim and 3 main points that follow and support that claim that are going to be divided out into your essay. How do you feel that you're doing? And a student has literally said to me, I think I'm at a 3 because I understand how to come up with the claim and the reasons, but I don't think I've quite got to the parallel design in my outline yet. So like a 7th grader, bananas, amazing. My job is so cool sometimes. So my biggest tip to you is to do your best to kind of reconceptualize what grades can mean and what those letter grades can mean, and to use those numbers and those words that go along with our numbers as a way to gauge your students' understanding with an individual concept or skill that they're trying to master in any subject. So again, crash course really fast. So I'm here to answer questions and we're here to help. At the beginning of the year, when you come in, it's going to be a learning curve. It's going to be weird. So email us, get in touch with us, make sure you check in with those notices that we send, come to Morning Coffee. I break down these into really more detailed pieces, each taking about 5 or 6 minutes a piece. So definitely at the end of this, let's answer some questions. Mr. McCulkey, do we want to do questions for assessment now or at the end of the whole open house?
I think we should try to keep rolling for the sake of time and then take questions at the end.
Sounds good. Write down your assessment questions.
Yes. All right. Thank you, Ms. Kotelman. That is a crash course. That's a lot of information, but we, like any good teacher, we continue to reteach that and share that information in smaller bite-sized chunks. The next thing I want to discuss is the schedule and how our schedule works, what a schedule looks like at Stream Academy. So we have 3 different structures in our schedule. Monday and Friday are our full days, And so students have 7 periods. They have all 7 of their class periods on Monday and Friday. Tuesday and Thursday are block days. So they have 4 classes on Tuesday, 4 classes on Thursday. That 8th class in the schedule that we have a couple times a week is our advisory period. And then Wednesdays are early release days. We go a little bit longer than the regular school day, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. We have a little more time than Baggage would or Clark, and that is to allow us to have a shorter day on Wednesday. So we early release on Wednesdays, and the afternoons are spent doing professional development and planning and collaboration. And there's a lot of work that goes into creating really cool projects and doing all the collaboration our teachers do. So that's sort of and I have a visual for that. For student scheduling, all of our students have an outdoor-based PE. Like I said earlier, all of our students have a science and a STEM class. And next year, we also will be adding in the Fab Lab elective classes. So you'll have really 3 science-based classes. We do provide what's called multi-tier systems of support, which means if students are at an enrichment level and they're advanced, or they're at a level where they need more support and extra support in reading and math, we provide those extra support classes as well. Like I said earlier, all of our students do an advisory on Thursday afternoons, and we work in those social emotional learning lessons and those organizational skills and study skills and advisory. And then Wednesday is a special day where we do a lot of our project-based learning time. A visual of what our schedule looks like next year. You can see on Monday and Friday, you have periods 1 through 7. So you have math, science, social studies, language arts, PE, STEM, your elective, and that's 7. And then Tuesday, you have half of those classes, your first 4. And you have those longer blocks, those longer 90-minute blocks. And those are the blocks I spoke of earlier, that it's mandatory in the middle of that 90 minutes is a long time. I can't sit still for 90 minutes. I certainly couldn't when I was 12. So we have it mandatory that students take a break and they get to go outside and get some fresh air and some movement in the middle of those 90-minute blocks. Thursday, the other half of those classes, and you can see the 4th class there, the number 8 class is that advisory class. And then you can kind of see how Wednesdays are structured. And I'm just going to leave that up for a second, just because I know people are taking a look. If you're really tech savvy, you can hit the buttons right now to do a screenshot. I can also put this on the web and share it with you. Before I move on, Mrs. Beyondich or teachers, is there anything about our schedule that I'm missing that I should share? Okay. I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Beyondich to talk a little bit about how you volunteer and what the process is for volunteering and doing volunteer work at Anchorage Stream Academy. Take it away, Ms. Beyondich.
Thank you. My name is Sylvia Beyondich. I'm the administrative assistant at Stream. I've been here this is my 2nd year, but I have been serving with the founders since 2013. The school actually opened in 2016, and then I came on board last year. There are multiple ways that you can volunteer. We do not require you to volunteer, but we encourage you to volunteer and get involved. The quote that we like to say is, volunteers don't get paid not because they're worthless, but because they are priceless. And we do need parent volunteers and community volunteers to help us be successful instructing your student, your child. So some of the ways that you can do that is by joining the Academic Policy Committee. That's the mini school board that governs our school. You can also get involved in the 501c3 called Stream Anchorage, which is the fundraising arm of our school. And then on Wednesday, we're looking for club leaders because we have early release. There are times when clubs can meet while teachers are in collaboration, and the teachers can't do those clubs because they're working that afternoon. So we need community volunteers or parents to help us with Boy Scouts or homework help We had a fabulous choir club a couple years ago with a parent who helped out, but really the students led that club themselves. Art club, one of the community members that serves on our academic policy committee is a retired teacher. She actually worked for Anchorage Stream for a while, Ms. Gail Yip, and she has run an art club for us in the past. We also need volunteer chaperones for treks, and we also need volunteer drivers for treks. Now, we're not quite sure what that's going to look like, thank you to the pandemic, but we will have something in place for all of our volunteers. That quick slide was just about the different opportunities that you have for volunteering. If you're interested in being a volunteer driver, we do need to have you fill out a form, and that's the district requires, and we need a copy of your insurance and your driver's license and your registration. And then you need to pass a background check. But I'll walk you through all of that.
All right, thank you, Ms. Bionich. I appreciate you sharing about volunteering and how important our volunteers are at Stream. I want to talk a little bit about sports and activities at Stream Academy. We have 2 official school district sanctioned sports we just adopted last year. Until then, we didn't have any actual official sports programs. So we do cross-country running as a team, and we compete in the fall, and then we do cross-country skiing, and our cross-country skiing team competes in the winter. Mr. Mosen has and Mr. Perkins have headed those up. Mr. Mosen's been our head coach and our athletic director at Stream. He's been instrumental in bringing these programs to life and making them happen. He's super enthusiastic about the running and skiing, and has created some really awesome programs. Mrs. Bionich mentioned we have numerous after-school clubs and activities, just depending on who our volunteers are and who's available and what the interests are. I want to make sure that I make you aware, you can also do any other, besides cross-country running and skiing, you can do other sports, after-school activities, after-school programs at other schools. Whatever your boundary school is, whatever the school you're zoned for, you have the right to participate in any sports or after-school clubs or activities we don't offer. One of those that often is utilized is band. We have students who do wrestling, who do volleyball, basketball, football at Begich or at Clark or Mears at the middle school that they're zoned for. You're not really allowed to do that at a different middle school. That's a high school thing. You're supposed to do it at the school that is your boundary school. But all you have to do is walk in and talk to the front office and just say, hey, my child goes to Stream Academy, but we're zoned for your school and we'd like to participate in wrestling. And they let you do that. Quick plug, we talked about morning coffee. Feel free to join us every Wednesday for morning coffee, just to learn more about the school, ask questions. It's the same Zoom link that we're on now. I send that out every Wednesday. You can email us for that and join or watch on YouTube. Wanted to put in, we have some really great guests. We've had a lot of authors and experts and a lot of great guest speakers. So we want to extend that opportunity for you to come every Wednesday and join us. And we're kind of close to the end here. We want to do a little Q&A. Ms. Gatlin's going to start us off and involve her student leaders. And then I'm going to close with a really cool video that we produced to highlight our school. Ms. Gatlin?
Thank you. So, as I said before, we do have some students here with us, and I thought I saw Ruben out there too, somewhere in our audience. So if you guys have questions for our teachers or our staff or students, now we'd like to open up the floor for questions. We hopefully have really good answers for you. You can type questions in the chat. You could raise a blue hand. You could also unmute yourself and chime in.
Just a quick one.
Go for
it. When do the lottery results come back? Like at the end of March?
It's a good question. Yes. I believe Sylvia, correct me if I'm wrong, but this first round of lottery closes March 18th, 22nd, okay.
March 26th. The lottery results are mailed out to parents on March 26th.
Right. The first lottery closes on March 18th, and then the lottery will roll on the 19th. The schools are then all the schools that if you're trying to get into a school outside of the zone that you live in, you apply through the lottery. The schools then have a chance to verify and validate the lottery, and results are given out on the 26th. There's a second lottery that then opens up at the beginning of April, so you can apply for the second seeding, which would happen at the end of August or the beginning of September.
Good question. Any other questions?
I'd like to
Ms.
answer the
Kotelman.
ELA one. I'd like to answer the ELA one in the chat. Do ELA teachers read different books than other schools? Are those books different each year? So as far as novel studies, yes, we do get to read books that are different from the regular novel studies done in traditional schools. We do have some that carry over. Two Old Women is typically read in 7th grade. Because it's an amazing book. And Book Thief is a new one. What's really exciting about our school is that if teachers want to, we usually can get a new book set and try new stuff. So depending on what the students are interested in. And of course, I can't talk about novel studies without talking about our choice reading program. For 6th and 7th grade, I am about it with letting kids read books that they want to read. So I have sacred reading time in class where students can pick a book up that interests them and just read for the sake of reading. No reading logs. I don't want to grade them. No comprehension activities. Just read. So, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Ms. Kotelman. There was also a question in the chat about robotics, if Ms. Drager wants to jump in. But all of our 6th graders are scheduled in both a 6th grade science class with Ms. Drager and 6th grade STEM with Ms. Drager. So you have 2 science classes with an incredible science teacher. And our 6th grade STEM class is mostly robotics. So all of our 6th graders get to do robotics as part of your regular schedule. And then Ms. Drager also does an after-school robotics club. Do you want to add anything to that, Terry?
Yeah, so the After School Robotics Club is FLL, so First Lego League, and we compete on a district level on that one. And yes, 6th graders can join. So it's just an application process, and we do that at the beginning of the year. So you'll see advertisements for Robotics Club and packets going out to people who want to participate.
Thank you. There was a question that's, I wish Ms. Goodman was able to be here. She submitted her video to say hi. And I'd have you go check out this morning's morning coffee because Ms. Goodman presented today on this very topic. What does project-based learning look like in an algebra class? Ms. Goodman has done some amazing cross-curricular projects this year that incorporate algebra and science and social studies, and done some really cool things where she's using GIS software, and students are using GIS to do mapping and coordinate planes, and incorporating a lot of algebra concepts into their projects. I'm not the best one to answer some specific examples of that. If there are any teachers who can bail me out, that would be great. But if you really want to hear about awesome projects that involve algebra, check out Morning Coffee from today.
As her teaching partner, I also teach on the 8th grade level. I can tell you one aspect of what math looks like in the project-based learning is that she and I are working closely together, the humanities side, language arts and social studies, with the math and the science side. We have this FIRE project, without giving away too many surprises about it. And Zach, don't you say anything. So like teaching algebra, explicit instruction in math, and keeping up with the skills and, the high school credit requirements. In addition, we have this collab class called Projects, in which we're crossing the boundaries and they're using those algebraic skills in real life settings because it's crossing over, and she and I are planning together for that Projects collab class.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. Any other questions? Anybody? I'm kind of looking at the chat. You can put your
Looks like
hand up.
There was some questions in there about homework, and I just wanted to make it vocal for our YouTubers. Question is, how much homework do we get? And a lot of the students shared, we don't get a lot of homework. You get a lot of stuff to do during class, but not a lot of homework. We want you to honor your home time.
Yeah, we're
part of
really
that-
Yeah,
sorry.
go ahead, Ms. Kotelman. You can explain it.
So part of the homework policy, and I can explain that, I explain this a lot in our grading policy as well, is that we want the grades to honor what students are practicing and learning. So if you do get homework, it's practice for stuff you've already learned, and it's minimal. And most times teachers will give you time in class to do that. There's a ton of different issues with equity when it comes to homework. So we bring up the rigor during the day and let kids rest at home. Zach, you had your hand up to talk about homework for a second, and I want student voice to be in here too.
Yeah, I pretty much, I'm agreeing with everything you say. The only time that you would ever get homework in any of the classes I had anyway, the only time I ever got homework was when I wasn't keeping on track of my work in a class, and that's when I had to work on stuff over, like, not necessarily over the weekend, but on my own time. And just that's when I wasn't really on top of everything like I am now. So that's, like I said, really the only time you get homework is if you fall behind, and then it is homework because you do it at home, but and on your own time, but it's really easy to catch back up unless you get really far behind, in which case you're gonna struggle a little bit. But if you are on top of all your work, it will be fine, and you'll just keep walking along and keep going from class to class and enjoy yourself, hopefully, because Stream is a ton of fun, and I can say that off of a student level. Stream is an amazing school.
Awesome, Zach. Thank you, bud. That was very well said. I have some rules for homework for our staff. Our homework, your homework can never be busy work. Your child will never get a worksheet or a word search or some of those busy work things that teachers send home sometimes without a whole lot of purpose and learning tied to it. If that actually happened, I genuinely would want a phone call. I'd want to know that so that I can work on that. We can fix that. We don't do busy work. Our homework is intentional. If we have homework, it's for a very good reason that's connected to learning that. And often what I hear when our students have a lot of homework, when I hear about it, when I hear I've got a lot of work, I'm stressed, is usually around a really big and involved project. It's because they have a group of students and they're working on a project together, and they really have to, and oftentimes because they want to go in depth and really do well on this project, and they need to extend that learning. So it's almost that they chose that themselves. The other time I hear students complain about homework, Zach said it really well. It's when they haven't kept up on what they need to be doing, with the high rigor that we have in class. And so they've got to finish that at home because it still has to be done. Homework also should never be a new concept. It won't be something that your students haven't practiced and worked on and been introduced to and shown in school. We're not going to throw new concepts at you to do at home. It should be practice of skills and working on skills that they've really gone over very, very well in class. So thanks. Good job, Zach. And thank you all for jumping in on that. Are any other questions before I jump to, it's 7:30. We've got to start to close up, and teachers have classes to teach tomorrow. Yes, sir.
I have a response to a question that was in the chat, which asked, what animals do we get to dissect? And I teach 7th grade science, and Ms. Drager teaches 6th grade science. Ms. Drager has dissected squid, and she did that last year. And I have dissected frogs at the 7th grade level. So I know that those two are what we do in 6th and 7th grade. I am not sure if there's a dissection. I think we've done salmon in the past and had someone come in and point out the anatomy of a salmon and things like that. So there are some of those hands-on fun science things as well.
Yeah, we have done dissection of salmon. We've also done some dissection of moose lungs and body parts, and also pig lungs and body parts. So.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Holsopple. Lots of science at our school. You'll go outside a lot. You'll do a lot of science and STEM. Yet the language arts and the arts are super important, and they're integrated into everything we do. Anything else before are you guys seeing the my screen that with the video about to play? All right, Miss Gatlin coordinated putting together this fabulous video to introduce our school. So I want to end by playing this for you, and we'll stay on to take questions afterwards. But I'm going to say goodnight. Thank you so much for joining us. Enjoy this video and follow up. Let us know if you have any questions. Welcome to Anchorage Stream Academy. I'm your principal, Adam Mokelke. Anchorage Stream Academy empowers students to be involved learners, critical thinkers, and engaged citizens who are inspired by the natural world. Project-based learning is the driving educational philosophy of Stream Academy. We do hands-on, experiential, cross-curricular projects every day. Don't take my word for it. Listen to what our staff and students have to say about Stream.
Hi, my name is Cullen Goodwin. I am a 7th grader here at Stream Academy. I usually didn't like school. School was never really my thing. But until I came to Stream, that's when I actually started enjoying things school-wise. So the teachers are absolutely amazing here. They're amazing people, and they have a genuine love for us kids, and they want to give us the best education they can.
Hi, my name is Sawyer. I'm in 7th grade and I'm at Stream Academy. I really like how hands-on everything is. You don't read a book about how to do something, you actually learn how to do that thing by doing that thing.
My name is Nicole Staker. I teach 6th grade math at Stream Academy. At Stream, I see teachers who are excited to be here. A lot of us are new teachers, or we're trying to see things in new ways. What I really like about Stream is the small class sizes, and then obviously being able to give each student more one-on-one support and getting to know them more.
My name is Mr. Mosen. They call me Coach Mosen. The backbone of our PE is games outside. We have this motto that we go outside every day. We learn outside every day. And it could be learning the natural history, or it could be PE, learning sportsmanship, team sports. A lot of the curricula that we use in the state didn't capitalize on the amazing outdoor environment that we live in and work within. So this school strives to use the outdoors more and some of the natural environment in our learning.
Hi, my name is Amy Bonertz. I am the school counselor here at Anchorage Stream Academy. Here at Anchorage Stream Academy, we really believe in restorative practices. When students are disruptive in class, we don't like to jump right to discipline. We like to give the students a chance to reflect, to think about how their actions impacted themselves, how their actions impacted others, to be able to get them back into class and back to learning. Another thing that we do a lot here at Anchorage Stream Academy is focus on social emotional learning, or SEL practices. Our teachers here are great at implementing SEL practices within their classes. Now, SEL is a great tool that our teachers use to build community within our school, within our students. Because we're such a small school with such tiny classes, having that community is really, really important. We want to teach students not only to be high achievers in academics, but also high achievers in society. We want them to be engaged learners and engaged citizens within their community, not just here at Stream, but then also here in Anchorage.
I am Laura Ashley Coleman. I teach English Language Arts here at Stream Academy. So Stream Academy is an amazing school. We get to explore and do project-based learning. You get to learn how to do cool stuff in real and authentic ways. Every kid who comes through here feels a little nervous to get started at first, but we set them up for success. We make sure that the structures are there, they're learning the processes, we provide them support every step of the way. And middle school is a tough transition for every kid. but here at Stream we really work to help them feel less stressed, like they're a part of a family and they're a part of a group.
My name is Sylvia Biondich. I'm the administrative assistant at Anchorage Stream Academy. What's so special about Stream Academy is that we meet every child where they are and yet still hold them to high expectations. We teach all of our classes at the gifted level, and all of our students strive to that, and they meet those goals. They get to go outside every day. They get to learn through project-based learning, and when we say that we have a STEM focus, it's more of a stream focus because we add research and arts into it, which makes it the perfect program. Stream Academy is the school that I would have chosen for my kids if it had been around.
All right, thank you everybody. That's available on our website. Really nice video that we have put together this year. And we're gonna say goodnight and sign off for our YouTube audience. We're gonna say goodbye and I'm gonna stop the YouTube feed. I will stay on for a little bit, just in case folks wanna ask a couple questions, they wanted to do so in a little less formal of a setting. Otherwise, we'll let folks who are ready to go.